So there've got to be 1,000 different stories. If you're a military veteran, certainly you have a C story or two to tell. I know that I do. I know a lot of chiefs and petty officers that could tell you about a million different stories, about a million different things that I did wrong as an ensign. And that when they were my age, things were totally different in the Navy. There's a million of those stories out there. We need to remember those stories. Those were stories of time at boot camp or at ace school. Those are stories at OCS or flight school or ranger school of doing something stupid that they shouldn't have, and their buddies might have helped them out when they needed it. There's also stories of loss and tragedy. There's stories of friends who didn't come home. There's stories of being in combat or being in a hairy situation where you didn't know if you were going to come home. There's stories of sacrifice. And for those of us that are military members and veterans, sacrifice is the name of the game. Not just for us, but for our families back home. There's so many spouses who sacrifice just as much as those of us who had to leave. There's a lot of wedding anniversaries that were missed because the ship just had to get underway that day, or you had to go do maneuvers. There's a lot of baseball games you didn't see because some jerks did something stupid and you had to get deployed over to Afghanistan or Iraq. There's funerals that you missed. There are times where you got an AMCROSS message, and for those of us who have seen an AMCROSS message, there's nothing scarier in your life. Knowing that something was going on back home and you couldn't be there to be a part of it, to help support it. Because your country needed you, because you had to sacrifice, and they had to sacrifice with you. When we were young, when we were reckless, when we were a little bit stupid, when we wanted a little bit of adventure, and where we wanted to be a part of a community where we felt like we weren't alone. Our country asked us to do that, and in return, we ask our country, our grateful nation, to provide services back to us as veterans. Doesn't matter if you left the military service last year or 25 or 50 years ago. There's 1,000 stories of loss, of tragedy, but of great times too, of silly, stupid things that you did underway. Maybe you got in trouble in the paint locker, maybe you fell asleep on watch, maybe you lost your gun, and you had to go find another one. Tell every one of those stories. Be a little bit louder about your C stories. That's what this is meant to be. Because there's a lot of things that you can get in this world. You can own a home, you can buy nice jewelry, you can have a nice car. All those things can be taken away. But there's nothing that can be taken away, especially if you have a DD-214, and that's your service to your country. You are a United States military veteran, and no one can take that away from you.